All right, guys. So today is the first day of August. August 1st, Thursday, we're trading the London session today. And we're going to first start off with Forex Factory, what we always do. And we just want to see if there's going to be anything that's going to reflect or affect our trading. And what we have now is, let me go ahead and refresh this really quickly. All right, so what we have is we have some GBP news coming out at 7 a.m. EST. I'm keeping an eye out on this official bank rate here. So they're forecasting a drop from 5.25 previously. If there is a drop, then that will be bad for the currency for GBP. So again, that's at 7 a.m. EST during the start of the New York session. So we just want to be careful when we're trading GBP when this news come out, just an FYI. And then after that, we have unemployment claims for USD at 8:30 a.m. EST, and they're predicting a rise in unemployment just by 1K. And if so, that's considered bad for the USD, which we should see some USD pairs or pairs beginning with USD drop a bit. It doesn't really affect the currency pairs too much, but you may see a little dip if they happen to have 236K or higher. Anything higher than 235K previously, we'll see a little dip in pairs beginning with USD. So the pairs that I'm going to go over, I would suggest to maybe wait after this news come out before you possibly enter. And then finally, I'm also looking at the CPI month to month for the chef pairs, and that's going to actually take place on Friday, early morning at is that 3:30 or 12:30? I'm sorry, 2:30 a.m. EST on Friday. So that's 11:30 p.m. my time. So EST is 3 hours after. And so they're predicting a decline for their CPI. If it declines, that's bad for their currency. Usually we trade chef pairs as the second currency in the pair. So if it declines, then we should see chef pairs rising, pairs that ends in the chef rise. So I'm actually excited about that because that will actually boost. I think it will boost chef pairs pretty good if this comes negative or anything lower than the 0.0% that came in previously. So again, FYI, pairs that ends with chef, like for example, USD chef. If this comes in negative or anything lower than 0.0, then we should see chef pairs rising, just an FYI. All right, and that's going to take place Friday early morning. So some of you guys may be asleep depending on what happened. So if you're going to be trading the London session tomorrow, just an FYI. All right, so other than that, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off with Euro AUD. And being that it's Thursday, I don't really like to look too much into the CLT report because a lot of stuff is either played out already, and then the new report comes out Tuesday, which was a couple of days ago, but we don't get until Friday. So I'm not really judging or looking at the CLT report at this particular time because it's later in the week, and then I'll wait until we get the new report Friday before I determine what's going to happen for next week. But that being said, we can see that we had a strong impulse move the last couple of days, and it wicked to our resistance zone and it just dropped, right? So let me take a closer look here. So from where price was at, it wicked pretty aggressively yesterday, 150 pips, which is insane. And you can see that it retested this resistance area all the time. This happens all the time. So one, two, we see a cluster of candles here, rejecting here. So it makes complete sense that it's going to reject off of this level. It's currently in the middle of our channel. If you guys trade the channel, the channel strategy that we have here, price action channel strategy. So it's currently in the middle of the channel. I do think that it's still overbought right now, and I'm hoping that price continues to drop a bit. So we have enough room in the channel for price to continue to drop a bit. And let's see, so price is currently here. At least it gets 50 to 60 pips. My only concern right now is I would not buy or sell at this particular time because where price is currently at, price could come back and retest that resistance zone. So we could see something like this. We're printing a white candle, in my case, green, in some other cases. and it looks like it want to come back to this resistance zone. So where price is currently at now, I would wait, but I wouldn't be shocked if price continues to drop either. So we're at a critical level at this particular time in which I would do absolutely nothing. I have an RSI as confluence, just so you can see that it is way beyond the 80 level. It will actually just touch about the 80 level. If you guys are familiar with my RSI strategy, I like to use this RSI that has an MA in there as well. And whenever price crosses or gets to 80, then I like to start selling. Even if it doesn't cross my MA, if as long as it gets to 80, then I'm good. The only reason why I would wait for price to cross the MA is if it reaches 70. So if it reaches 70 and I see it starts to curve, then I would start to trade that sell. But if it reaches 80 and above and it starts to curve, I don't need that MA confirmation. I would just sell. And that's exactly what it did, because anything that's over 80 tells me that it's really overbought. And it had to been either some news or something that's going on for it to spike this high, because it's rare, as you can see, me going back, that it even approaches or get near to 80. Like this right here is 72. This is 73. So when it gets to 80, according to my RSI strategy, I'm selling regardless. So that's just kind of the strategy here. And I do believe that there's a big drop that's coming soon. I just don't know exactly when. As a swing trader, I probably wouldn't mind getting in at a position around this time as a small position, knowing that I can possibly be in the trade for a couple weeks or so. But from where price is at to where it could come back to is about 114 pips. So if that's something you can't withstand, then I would say stay out until we see the next move of the markets. If price continues to rise a little bit higher, then I would probably look to sell again. By then, the CLT report would have come out, and if the big boys were is saying that they will put some shorts in, then I would absolutely short this here. So at this point, I will wait to see what happened. I would draw my channel similar to this, just connect it from the bottom here, give it some room to breathe, let your channel or your trend line away from the structure, copy or clone this trend line, similar to this here, where if you have a Mac, I like to just do Command C and then Command V, and then I just drag it to the other top wicks, to the higher highs, and do something like that. And you can see that price reached or got close to the upper trend line, and now it's in the middle here. So let's just wait and see what happens with Euro AUD before we do anything here. Next pair I'm looking at is Euro NZD. And guys, feel free to ask questions in the chat. So Kordjiki said, what are the settings on this RSI? So this RSI is a little bit different than a normal RSI because this has the MA in it. So for my settings, this is just the general settings for my RSI. If you want, I can tell you the RSI settings that we have for the other RSI that we use for like the KISS strategy. But for this one that has the MA, my RSI length is 14. And then my standard deviation is 2. My MA length is 14 as well. And this is pretty standard. I can't remember the name of this RSI in particular, but if you just go to indicators and then search RSI relative strength index, it doesn't give me the author. So I can't remember. I had this on my trading view for some time, but you'll just probably have to do some research and find out where it's at, or put RSI MA or something like that in your search box and see if it'll come up. All right. So next pair is Euro NZD. All right, so Euro NZD, I do think that is going to continue to drop, and it looks like that we may approach a pullback sometime soon. So again, RSI is confluence at 80. Every time it's at 80 or anything above, I'm selling. As soon as I see it curve, I would enter. So this is what I typically do. And we're price action traders. It's rare that we use indicators to enter, but I always like to throw on this RSI sometimes just to see. And if that's the case, then I'm always entering. So let me circle where the 80 level is at. So the 80 level is, give me one sec. The 80 level is right here. So it's at the 80 level, but I didn't see a sign of curving. So once I see the sign of curving down right here, that's when I would get in. And then when I mix it with market structure, if it's at a resistance level, then that's just kind of like my confirmation. If it doesn't reach to the 80 level, and let's say it gets to the 70 level, this is my 70 level right here at this dotted line, and I see it start to curve like it did here, then I would wait for it to cross the MA. So this is where I would enter right here. And let's pull up the chart to show where it reflects at. So this is where I would have entered right here for a sell. And I probably would have taken profit right here, knowing that this is a support zone here. So that is a good 120 pips or so. So this is just a strategy that I like to use every now and then when I like to throw on my RSI when I see prices at an 80 level, or sometimes I'll see prices at a 70 level. If it's at the 70 level, I need to see cross the MA before I enter. If it's at the 80 level, again, I need to see it curve before I enter, even if it doesn't cross the MA. So I have a YouTube video on that as well that goes a little bit more into detail. All right, so next is GBP AUD. GBP AUD, I'm just going to leave this RSI MA here just for confluence as well. But GBP AUD is at a resistance level right now, start to pull back. So this GBP pairs was pretty aggressive yesterday. You can see this aggressive wick here from the body to the candle to the top, 153 pips, and it already started to drop. So from the top of that wick there to where price is at now is about 200 pips. So is it a smart time to get in right now? No, it already made its move, 200 pips. I do believe it's going to continue to drop. I'm very confident that it's going to drop, but getting in now, we never chase the trade. And that is part of our risk management strategy. If I'm just curious, some of you guys who are on here, do you guys actually have a trading plan? Not putting you guys on the spot, but just curious. A trading plan, meaning like you have an outline plan, maybe online or on paper, and it tells you what strategy you use, your setups, everything in detail. So if that plan doesn't hit, then you stay away. GUTP4. Just make a note. TP. So GUTP4 hit for signals. Awesome. Okay. And if you don't, we have that for you. We have a template for you in the academy once you get to the graduate section. That's one of the requirements in order for you to graduate. You fill out our template, or you can use whatever template you want, and it gives you everything in detail. All you have to do is fill it out, and you keep that plan with you every single time you trade. And that way it'll hold you accountable before you even enter a trade. Everything you do is according to that plan. All right, so we see that price is rejected from this resistance zone, met exactly where it needed to meet at, and we have a bearish candle printing right now, very strong. So it could come back down, and I do believe price could come back down to the support zone, another 100 pips or so, but then again, not chasing the trade, because if it happens to go against you, it can come back and retest this area for about 150 pips. So I want to throw that out there to you. Sometimes, I don't know if any of you guys have sold from this level here or not. If so, I would say continue to hold it. If you haven't, let's just wait. I do believe price is going to come back at least half of this length, at least a third to maybe even half of this length of this impulse move. So just getting my fib tool here. And the fib tool, you don't have to only use it for one candle. You can use it for whenever you see an impulse move, whenever you see some sort of rejection like this here, and then price start to turn around, take it from the bottom to the top. And if you're a swing trader, you can definitely use this for this strong impulse move where you have a number of candles headed to the upside, and then you see a strong reversal at this resistance area. If you're a swing trader, you can take this to the 50 level, to the 38 level, to whichever level you feel comfortable with, just as long as it's respecting price action. Like right here, I would take it definitely to just a little bit past the 3.8 level, the 382 level. So from where price is at now, that is another 100 to 120 pips. If you sold from the top of resistance to that area, that's easily 320 pips or so. Confirming the RSI level, crossing the MA, even though it's already past the 80. So I would have got in as soon as that curve hit. And look at all of this area that we have to head down. Now, it could take a couple weeks. It can take a month or so. But I like to sometimes judge the candle structure from the initial rise. So what I mean by that is looking at these candles here, it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to maybe 16 days to rise. And I think it'll take maybe at least half of that to get to this support level and maybe even more to come back down. So I don't know if it'll come back down to this support level here, but absolutely somewhere around this zone right here, around the 1.947-ish zone. So just want to give you guys an FYI. Again, I don't encourage you to chase the trade, especially that we're at a minor support zone. Here's our minor support zone. And all I'm doing is just looking at the last few candles. This is kind of like a consolidation area right here. Although this is printing pretty strong, never want to chase the trade. I'd rather you guys sell when it comes back to this minor resistance zone than selling right now. Even better when it's up here. So just want to kind of let you guys trade at your discretions, but I want to let you know what not to chase the trade. Another thing that you want to do as well, if you want to maybe intraday or scalp this, is go to the lower time frame. So for example, let's go to the daily time frame. You can use your RSI for confluence. Let me clean up this chart really quickly. You can use your RSI for confluence, for example. So I can see my RSI is approaching the 30 level. It's still not significant enough for me to buy, especially after that reversal. But here's our consolidation on a smaller scale right here. Now that we zoomed into the 4-hour level, bouncing up and down here, is there going to be some sort of rejection? Prices near the 30 level, which is an oversold level. It's up to you. If you feel like, hey, there's going to be some sort of rejection here, maybe I can take this back up to this minor resistance level for about 70 pips. So you can absolutely trade minor levels just like that. I used to do that often at one point. I just don't do it as much right now, but this is something that you absolutely can do. All right, did that make sense, guys? If so, we can go ahead and move on to the next pair. Next pair I have is AUD USD. And I kind of mixed up some of my pairs and deleted some pairs by accident. So I have to kind of figure out where they're at. All right, so AUD USD. All right, so AUD USD is at a nice support zone. And yesterday it wicked pretty aggressively as well. So now we're still kind of at a support level, but we didn't catch that that lower support level here. Also confirming in our RSI as well. So I do believe that there's some upside movement coming. Just like Kenya mentioned in Discord, I think it was yesterday, maybe or today. What goes down must come up. What goes up must come down, especially when you have this aggressive bearish move here, day after day after day. Right? So now we have this consolidation again. Like I told you, this minor level that you see on the smaller time frames. 1, 2. It would be best to buy here. But if you want maybe a small move and you want to go to the 4-hour, maybe the 2-hour time frame, see if it's oversold, see what price is doing on the lower level. Maybe you can take it back up to this level here, to this resistance. So from here to here is easily 40 pips. That's a nice intraday trade. I wouldn't do it right now because we have USD news coming up, and which is the unemployment. So you just want to be careful. And I think anything that you do with USD right now, you should probably wait until after unemployment takes place. So I don't think this pair is going to move much um, between now and the beginning of New York session. So it may start picking up New York session, but I would wait until after unemployment claims is completed. If it would be nice if unemployment claims came in a little bit and dropped, then I would be looking to buy wherever it stops, because it could drop deeper into our support zone here, or maybe come a little bit lower. But whenever you start seeing some consolidation, I will buy. You can intraday or even swing trade it because it is heavily oversold, even according to our RSI, and it's attracting buyers here. So it's actually at our 30 level right now. You can wait to see if your MA and price cross. That would be an indicator to go in and jump in. And it's up to you where you want to take profit. You can take profit from zone to zone, or you can just take profit maybe to the middle, the 50 level of your RSI. So there's many different strategies that you can use using this RSI, just as long as you respect your price action, right? So I'm not just saying look at the RSI. I'm saying look at your price action levels first, your support and resistance levels, and then if your RSI confirms, then hey, pull the trigger. Just as long as your trading plan says that. If you don't have that in your trading plan and you like that and maybe you back test it, then you can add it in your trading plan. All right, so that is USD, that's AUD USD. Next pair I'm looking at is GBP USD. I don't really trade this one too often. Pricing deeper. Just looking at my notes here. So we have our price action channel strategy. I would like for price to go a little bit deeper here, which it looks like it's starting to go a little bit deeper into our support level here. At this point, I'm not really looking at RSI. The RSI, GBP USD is a little bit slow when it comes to the RSI, which is one of the reasons why I don't trade as well, but it's coming to our support level, our horizontal support level, and also our vertical trend line support level. And I think that would be a nice time to buy. So even if this was a possible trend reversal, let's say this was the trend reversal and this was resistance right here, right? And let's say this was a possible trend reversal. I grab my trend line, grab it from the top, and let's say it was something like this here. And I'm going to go ahead and do the price action channel strategy. I don't know how wide this will be right now, but let's just guesstimate. Let's just say it was like this, okay? And price is at the support level. And let's say I don't even know this is a trend reversal yet. Because price is at our horizontal support zone and price is oversold, I can almost say with certainty from where price is at, it needs to pull back at least to our resistance level for our downtrend. Does that make sense, guys? So even if I didn't know if this was a downtrend or not, I do believe that price needs to come back up. So if it's a downtrend, it will be considered a pullback. If it's continuing an uptrend, this will be an impulse move. So this is something I call crossroads. Didn't have any other name for it, but this is where you know that it is at a support zone here, heavily supported zone, looking left for clues. And then I don't know, this is a downtrend. This could be a continuation, but because price is oversold and it brought in a lot of sellers, now it's time to attract buyers. And this could be a pullback if it's a downtrend or an impulse move if it continues to the upside and do something like this, right? And it continues an uptrend. So either way, I would probably come in here and take it to about here, to this level right here. So from where price is at now to here, easily 100 pips. And we don't have to stay in that long. Oftentimes, many traders don't. So you can take it for 40 pips or 30 pips. It's completely up to you and however you want to do it. But I think maximum, if this was a trend reversal and then we didn't know yet, we can take it at least to this peak here. All right, just checking the chat really quick, just to check with you guys, make sure you guys are grasping if you have any questions before we move on to the next pair. If you're good, you can just type good or G for good. And then once you guys type something, I will move on to the next pair. Awesome. Okay. All right, next pair, NZD USD. I don't know why I put this on my list. Let me see, check my notes really quick, because it's already really made its move. Okay, so it looks like it already started. So when I was looking at this pair, I figured that it will continue to rise. Let me check here. So when I was analyzing this pair, I said I figured it was going to continue to rise. So it already started to make its move here. And it confirms with the RSI across the MA here, which totally means that I believe it's going to continue to rise at least to the 50 level, which is, let me grab my measuring tool. I think this will rise for at least another 80 to 90 pips. So from where price is at to here. Yep. So max 100, but to be safe, about 80 pips. And so I'm looking at this minor level right here. And why did I determine that? So 1, 2, 3. So support, support, support. I love when I see not only wicks and it continues aggressive to the upside, wicks continue aggressive to the upside. I also like seeing a number of candles there. So like this one candle here, candle here, candle here. That means it took 3 whole days of consolidation before buyers and sellers figured out what they want to do. Then it dropped, came back, retested, a number of candles here, finally broke out, candles here. This is a very popular area. I can say 98%, I believe this price is going to come back here. Only thing I can't predict is how long it'll take, but absolutely will come back here before it goes down. So that is one thing that I'm pretty certain of. So from where price is at now to here, about 90 pips. If you don't want to hold it that long, maybe a good 50 pips or so. So the only thing about that is, to be safe, we always say we want to be safe because we always talking about managing your risk. The safest way to trade this is for price to break out and come back and retest, then buy. So that's the absolute safest way because we're already having this pullback or this impulse move here. So this will be the wrong time to buy, but I'm pretty positive it will come back up here if that makes sense. So I'm just going to leave that to you guys. So we always want to do what's safe. We always want to manage risk properly. I'm going to leave that with you guys. So I'm not going to really tell you what you should do, but I am going to say the safest is for price to break out, come back and retest. Buy there. So maybe I should give you guys some numbers because your charts may be marked up a little bit different than mine. So from where price is currently at, right here is a level that I would love to buy. I'll put it like that. So if you want to wait for price to rise a little bit and see if it'll come back and retest around price where it's at now, would be an awesome time to buy. All right. Next pair on my list is USD CAD. I accidentally deleted some stuff and now just rearranged my whole chart. USD CAD. See if it's in the USD. I think I may have deleted this one too. Sorry, guys. Oh, there we go. All right, USD CAD is on the move to the downside. Already started making this move, but we still have some more time left. We see bears are starting to come in control, It's only about 30 to 40 pips away from this resistance level. Ideally, I would love to get in if it comes back and retest this for a sell. Let me check something really quick with the commitment of traders. The CAD, so they added shorts to CAD. I don't really look at the USD for too much, the commitment of traders, but let me see. Okay. So yeah, to be safe, I would wait for price to come back up to the support zone because I do believe it could come back up. So we have a doji candle on the weekly time frame. So I like to look at that as buyers and sellers battling one another. And so they're meeting in the middle. But I would like for price to come back and retest this area here. Just looking at the commitment of traders, the Canadian dollar, the big boys have put shorts for CAD, which means that since CAD is the second currency, upside movement. And so we've already had that. Let me go back to the daily here. So we already had that upside movement on Monday. It could be complete. Now on Tuesday and Thursday, it's starting to drop, but now we're printing another white candle. So this could just be a small pullback and it continue to the downside, or this could be a possible retest. So it's hard to tell right now. I would wait to after New York session, after the unemployment claims, to see what will happen. If unemployment claims happens to push this up higher, then I would execute up here at this resistance level where it wicked at a couple times for a sell. And it's up to you for how long you want to take this. But even if you want to take it back to the structure here for about 50 pips, that should be a pretty simple 50 pips. Pretty simple intraday. So let's wait to see if price will come back up here. I'm going to add an alert here just so I don't forget. And then either myself or Kenya will let you guys know when it alerts, if you guys don't have the alert already. Already overbought in the RSI over the 70 level, hasn't crossed the MA yet. So that's my thing. It looks like it started to pull up and now it's starting to ride along with the MA. So again, my RSI rule, it has to cross in order for me to enter. All right, so that tells me possible upside movement is possible. So that being said, let's move to the next pair. I'm going to look at USD CHF. All right, so USD CHF, I'm looking for some upside movement. Now, we've been having some drops for CHF pairs. And just looking at the commitment of traders, they've been adding longs for CHF. So since this is the second currency in the pair, longs mean this way for CHF, right? Because it's the second currency. Longs for USD, since this is the first currency, means this way. So they've been adding a ton of longs for CHF and it's been dropping. So to be honest, I don't even really feel comfortable buying CHF pairs right now until I see the commitment of traders. That's my goal for CHF pairs. Like for yen pairs and CHF pairs, I need, me personally, I need the commitment of traders in order to be confident in that. Like, for example, yen has been continuing to drop. Commitment of Trader has been telling us that it's been continuing to drop. And not only drop, they added 43,000 longs to yen. Whereas the week prior, you go to yen. So from here, July 16th to July 23rd, that's about 43,000 longs. Prior to that, 182 or negative 182 to negative 153, that's about 30,000 longs. So they added 30,000 longs from the week prior and 43,000 longs for this week. So if they add another 43,000 or anything higher than that, then yen is going to continue to drop. So I'm not buying yen right now until I see a drop. Now you're may have some pullback, but since yen is special and CHF is special and they've been oversold for so long, then I could completely rely on the commitment of traders for those pairs or those currencies. So although it's at a nice support zone, the RSI level is at a nice support level. I'm not relying on that. I'm going to rely on the commitment to trader. So the commitment to trader report should come out tomorrow afternoon, and then I will be more confident to trading all chef pairs once I get that on Friday / the weekend. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. But if I see that chef right here, let me go back. So if I see chef lightens up a bit, so they have a negative 29,000, that means they have shorts. If I see that this 29,000 increases or decreases, and let's say it goes to negative 12,000, then I'm sorry, looking at the wrong pair. So chef positive 7,000. So if I see that this turns red, for example, or they only have a handful of longs, then I'll be looking to buy, if that makes sense. So I would love for this to turn red, the chef pair here, or the chef currency to turn red in order for me to start buying all pairs chef. Because chef is a sensitive currency as well as yen because they've been oversold for so long. So any type of movement, I think it would be pretty aggressive. All right, so I don't want to get too much into CLT with you guys. Next pair I'm going to look at, and let me know if you have questions, guys, is AUD USD. And if there's any other currency pairs that you want me to take a look at that I happen to miss, then let me know. All right, so AUD USD. Let's go to the weekly. All right, so AUD USD is absolutely oversold. So we're in a downtrend here on the weekly time frame. And then not only on the weekly, we're on at a downtrend, we are actually approaching a support level here. And we arrived at a support level, but I do believe there could be some more downside movement here. And it started to pull back on the weekly, so price is starting to head up. Let's go to the daily time frame here, and it's starting to consolidate day after day after day. So again, here's a long wick here showing sellers dominating, then buyers pick back up. So I would love to try to get in around this zone right here, where I see a number of buyers coming to pick up. So around this area right here is where I would like to buy. So I would hope for price to come back down. So from where price is at there to here is only about 45 pips. So I don't mind waiting for that to happen to buy, and then buying right now, even though it's overbought or oversold, I'm sorry. So let's just wait for that. I'm going to put an alert a few pips above where I want to execute so that I can reanalyze this pair. And my alert, just in case you want those numbers, is at 0.6488. RSI is oversold, but we need price action to confirm. And it's just above our support level. So if you care about a good 45 pips, maybe even 60 pips or so drawdown, then I would wait to see if that will happen. And I do think it's going to happen. I do think it's going to continue to drop. Just don't know if it's going to happen by tomorrow or next week, give or take. So we'll just wait and see. All right, let's see what other pairs. So I think that's actually all the pairs that I had time for to actually look at for the London session. If there's any other pairs you want me to take a look at, I'm more than willing to do that. There were some pairs that I intentionally didn't mark up, like the yen pairs, because like I mentioned, CLT says yen is going to continue to drop, but it is about time for yen to pull up. So what goes down has to come up. So let me just look at GBP, JPY really quickly here. So really aggressive for the last few days. So the last 3 days from, let's say, Tuesday to where it's at, man, that is insane. So Tuesday, top wick to where price is at. Okay, I don't know why my measuring tool is calculating weird now. I know that's not 700 pips. Could someone confirm that for me? So from 199 to 192. Wow. That's crazy. So yeah, it's definitely oversold. So I do believe a pullback is coming soon. It's just hard to tell. So I can do this and look at price action. And we could have looked at price action before and said, hey, price is going to stop and reverse. But right here, it looks like a nice solid support zone. Looking on the left side is a nice solid support zone. And so I do believe it's time for buyers to come in at this level. And if so, I can't see why it couldn't recover at least a third of the original downside movement. So from the top to the bottom with my fib tool, at least to the 382 level, which is 311 pips. So even if it was a continued downtrend, which I doubt for now, that pullback should be at least 300 pips. So yeah, I think that this is about time to pull up. But me personally, I'm all about risk. And Kenny will tell you, like, I'm like, okay, I don't know. Yen is a different breed. I will wait to see this report. I'd rather wait for Friday. We only have one more day to see what will happen with yen. And if I see that this number is adding more, if I see a higher number than 43,000, then I'm like, I'm staying out. If it's a lower number than 43,000, let's say it was just 23,000, that still means that they have longs, they have more long positions, and we should wait, we may still see downside movement, but this also tells me that they've added more, they added shorts too. So they took out a lot of their longs and they started adding more shorts. So this tells me that if this number is lower than 43,000, that tells me a pullback, a nice pullback is coming. And I would do that Sunday/Monday, maybe more of Monday. So I rather wait for an entire day and get that report than to get in, even though it's at a nice support zone, because we may see some consolidation at the support zone like this. They may go up and down and you get stuck over the weekend, and I'm not trying to do that. All right. So any pairs, guys? I think that's it for me. So no yen pairs right now. Kenya may drop something. We'll also see what happens for New York session. But I personally wouldn't get in any JPY pairs for tomorrow and then end up getting stuck over the weekend. All right, guys. So I'm going to actually just stop the recording here. Those who are watching the recording, let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you in Discord.